Alright, in this video I am going to cover each of these Galaga Mini arcade machines, which I have picked up over the last several months because I am a huge Galaga fan. And it's going to be a simple video. I'm going to open these up, get them out of the box. I haven't opened any of these yet, and I'm going to play each one, give my recommendations on which one I feel like is worth your money. First we'll look at the packaging. The first one up is Arcade Fun Galaga, which is the biggest box. I have them stacked here from biggest to smallest. And what I like about these packages is you can push a button to start it up and get a feel for what might be coming. And you know, overall it has the Galaga artwork on the packaging. And you know, this is number 9 from the Arcade Classics. So the next up is the My Arcade Galaga version, which to me looks the most like an arcade. And this one, the My Arcade version, does not allow you to interact with the unit or at all, so you don't get that like you do with the Basic Fun. But overall, I like the packaging and the graphics. Next up is the Tiny Arcade version, which also has a hole like the Basic Fun, so you can get a little demo. And right off the bat, it sounds just like the arcade. And looking at the packaging, it's calling itself the world's smallest, and I haven't seen anything functional that's smaller than this, so it might be. And it's reduced in size from the previous Tiny Arcade. So if you just to give an idea of the packaging for, I have another Tiny Arcade game, Pac-Man. You can see how they shrunk it down both on the height and the width, well, just a little bit. But it looks like the unit itself is about the same size, if not exactly the same. And then finally, I recently picked up this My Arcade Pocket Player version of Galaga. And what I like about this is that you can open up, and this one actually comes with 3 different games: Galaga, Galaxian, and Xebius. So it's a little pricier than the other ones here, but it does have the 3 games, and so be interested to see if this one is actually worth it. Is it worth the price increase, and how does it play with the D-pad? And so I do like that you can flip this open and you at least see what the unit looks like, but you can't demo it. So the packaging on this one is really, really good. So now let's look at the games. So this one was very tough to get out of the box. It had 4 locks right here. You could not get it out very easily, and it's totally unnecessary. And I guess it's for anti-theft reasons. But here is the unit, and I do like the backing and the graphics and the packaging on the back. It's a neat little planet there with the Galagas coming at you. And it has the instructions to get this thing working. So you can pull that out. Anyway, after having played this for a few minutes, I am going to conclude that this is probably an arcade port because the sound effects are so good, and everything I've seen seems to indicate that it's probably some kind of a emulated version of the arcade game. It only allows you to play single player, which is fine. This is a handheld version of the game. And when you're playing, you can pause the game by pressing start. So while you're playing, you can pause the game. You have on-off buttons down here. You have a volume control. It's really loud. But you can see also that the game is a little bit sluggish compared to the arcade. A lot slower. But the graphics here, I would have liked for the decal to be a little larger, but this isn't really a decal. It's kind of the whole decal. Okay, this whole thing's a decal. Would have liked for the image to have been larger. And the batteries in the back here compartment. The basic fun unit does come with an instruction guide, which is always a bonus. And this game does take 3 AA 1.5 volts batteries, which are included. So it's a nice value. You can get these for about $18 to $20. I picked this up at Walmart. Now, the My Arcade box packaging, in comparison, as contrasted to the Basic Fun, as soon as you open up the box, get past this, it comes right out. Very nice in comparison, having to take 4 locks off of the back of the box. And it also comes with a manual, a very thick manual with multiple languages, which is awesome. And then it has this collectible arcade series poster, which has all of their units, which is a nice little sales pitch, which is really cool. And you can see on the unit there is it looks like there's a sticker. We'll have to pull that off. And it's been my experience that these screens are delicate, so you want to be careful with them. Probably save the little sticker when you put it back in the packaging. So this unit takes 4 AA batteries, and they are not included, so that's an additional cost. There's a volume up and down rocker down in the back. Surrounded, or in the middle, pancaked in between that is your headphone jack, which I don't know how useful a headphone jack really is for something like this, but I don't know, let me know if you think that's important. And then as far as the graphics on the side, again, I just wish this was like took up more of the side of the unit. I do like how authentic it feels. It feels like a arcade machine cabinet. So at any rate, that is the My Arcade. It plays, it's like the NES version of the software. It plays faster, it plays like it should, like the arcade version should, as opposed to the Basic Fun, which played a little sluggish. You can pick these up for about 20 bucks if you're shopping good, but I've seen them commonly on sale at places like Target for about $30 to $35. So that is the My Arcade. It's a neat little unit. Next up is the Tiny Arcade Galaga, which has a set of tiny instructions, which are upside down. That's weird. Oh, there we go. Some tiny instructions to go with your Tiny Arcade. Now this one really is tiny. When they say tiny, it really is. And it looks more like the configuration of the Basic Fun, the same sort of controller. It says, it's funny on some of these, the age, it says 8 or up, but I think almost any age could play these games. There's an on-off switch in the back, so it won't work if you just hit the joystick. This thing takes 3 AA's. There's not much to it. To start the game, you just push one of the buttons. And let's see how it plays. Get it to focus. There doesn't seem to be any obvious way to turn the volume up or down. Oh, cool, cool, cool. So this is the tiny arcade Galaga Mini version. It fits right in your hand. It's really small. It fits on a keychain. It's the carabiner. It plays very well for something that's that tiny. Like my finger almost covers both buttons, and it's more of a showpiece to me. It's really cool though. If you love Galaga, this is really cool. And I've seen these for as low as $12 on Amazon.com. Alright, next up is the My Arcade Pocket Player. I'm going to pull off the sticker. Once again, I've noticed with these units that the screen is very delicate. It can be scratched very easily, so I would just keep that in mind. And so this one's interesting. The battery compartment is 2 batteries on each side, AAAs. Okay, so you select the game that you want to play by using the D-pad. I'm assuming pressing A. Okay, and then you have your start and reset buttons up here. So that's as loud as it will play. If I hit reset, back to the main menu. Let's try Galaxian. So this unit has an on-off switch up here in the top left. In the middle it has a USB power source. On the top right is a volume rocker, plus and minus. Has the reset and start buttons, A and B, and your D-pad. And then on the bottom there's your familiar headphone jack. And of course, this one has a little carrying case, which is cool. And then you have your battery compartments on the back. And then, also on the back, there's a little sticker here for Galaxian. It has A button to fire, B button to fire. And then on Xevious is a game that requires 2 buttons. So you have A to fire and B to bomb. So that's cool. And then the game box itself has this nice set of instructions in many different languages, which is nice. But it did not contain the little poster that the other My Arcade player had, the little poster advertising. Now I've covered all 4 of these units, and I have to say by far the best one out of the bunch is this My Arcade Mini Pocket Player. It has 3 games. It costs the most. I think this one is about $35, but it has 3 games, and it's a little more miniature. It's easier form factor to handle. The only drawback thing that I really don't like about it is that when you're playing, you're covering the speaker, so that can kind of muffle the sound while you're playing, but you know, depending upon your play style, it might not be an issue. But if you're playing with your thumb like this, you're going to cover it. But other than that, this is the best value as far as the most for your money. You are paying the most, but it's the best out of these 4 units for sure. If I had to pick a worse unit out of these, it's the Basic Fun. It's terrible. Although it has arcade emulation, it looks like it's some sort of a MAME emulation. I'm not sure. It plays sluggishly slow, so Galaga was never meant to play. It sounds beautiful, but Galaga was never meant to be played at such a slow pace. Especially that second wave. Look how slow the second wave is in the third wave. For me, that ruins it, but if it doesn't bother you how slow it is, kids will love this thing nonetheless. And then after that, if you had to go between the My Arcade and the Tiny Arcade, for sure, it's a no-brainer. You would go with the My Arcade player. The Tiny is really, it's just for show. It's kind of cool to carry around. Hey, you know, look what I got. But functionally wise, when you play it, the graphics, although it seems to emulate the arcade pretty good, they're jittery. They're not smooth, and it doesn't smooth flow. So this one is the second least favorite of mine. And the only reason why I wouldn't recommend this over the Pocket Player is because the Pocket Player has the 3 games. You can get this one cheaper. You can get this one for about $20. And I do like it. I like the fact that it has this stick, this stick, and it plays. It's more comfortable in your hand, especially when you're doing a direct comparison between the My Arcade and the Basic Fun. It's a much easier to play, much more comfortable in your hands. And at any rate, you wouldn't buy these to just carry around mobily to play, put in your backpack. This is for a collector and show off, and it's for people that love Galaga. That's why you're buying something like this. But the My Arcade and the Pocket Player My Arcade are both the NES versions, and they play terrific. So, and you know, I thought it would be a bit of a problem that it's not MAME or it's not the arcade versions of Galaga, but they really are fantastic little handheld units. Anyway, that's my recommendation, and thanks for watching.